That's key, I think, what you're saying there, Anne Marie, the ability to accept myself for the way I accept who I am and what my body, what kind of body I've got here. It makes a huge difference, I think, at least to me, between thinking this life is all there is, and so we better do everything in our power to realize my dreams for what I think I am, or what I would like to be, actually, what I would like to be, because then I think I will find more happiness that way. That's one scenario. This life is all there is. And I totally understand devoting all our resources, if that was the case, to trying to realize our dreams, whatever they may be. But the other view is that this life is actually only, well, when it's over, the eternity is ahead that you've just talked about. This life is really in preparation for eternity. And what we experience in this life is like a dream when it's over, that we'll be pretty vague on what were actually the details of it. It just seems so short in
Yeah.
relative to eternity. So I can accept the way I am much better, knowing this isn't really what I'm going to wind up with in the end. Like you just described, it'll be, well, there's one passage that says it has not even entered the heart of a human being what God has prepared for those who love him. So acceptance of the way we are really does hinge on your larger view on what this life actually is. Is this all there is, or is it just the
Yeah.
preliminary to the main event?
And it's also, I believe that God is sovereign, and that the limits he has put on me were part of his guiding of me. I'm a mom with 3 girls. And frankly, the day I fully accepted the fact that God had created me as a woman was the day I held my first daughter in my arms. And I was just amazed that God had given me this privilege. The privilege not only of holding her in my arms, but actually bringing her into the world, of having a body that was able to do that, was able to care for her. And it was like the first time I really, really thank God that he had made me a woman, like from the heart, where like problem solved. So that's really, I mean, I was still kind of working through gender in the church even then. Okay. And, I'm still working that one through. Actually, I'm still studying scriptures on that one, and writing a book about it, which will come out in about a year. And I have a lot to say about what God says to all his children, what God says to all his children without distinction of race, without distinction of social status, without distinction of ethnic background, without distinction of education, without distinction of sexual attributes. And when you look at scripture and you look at just the God who is not partial, the God who shows no partiality and gives every single one of his children the same blessings, the same inheritance, the same privileges, and the same call. It's amazing. And I think that that's actually not been part of the discussion enough. What we all have in common in the Christian environment, I think we really need to go back and look at what this gospel says to all of us, because sometimes we focus on 1 or 2 verses and forget the rest.